This is Scott.
This is Rebecca.
Welcome to Hardy Party of 5.5.
It's kind of like a variety show.
That's right, a smile for your ears.
So keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times and let's see where this roller coaster takes us.
Let me get this straight. You're all lost boys, right?
I'm Ace.
Hello, Ace. Now you're telling me that there's Indians here, too?
Yeah! Hook's got lots of them. Tons of them. All of them. He snags them when they're not looking. Now he shoots them out of cannons. And chains them to rocks and lets the tide roll over their heads. And the little ones have to crawl the plank.
Who are you?
I'm too small. That's his name.
And you?
Fat boy.
What's your name?
Don't ask.
Why?
That's his name.
Oh.
We're afraid to rescue them without Pan. Woo! Even Rufio.
Survival of the fittest. Hook gets the slow ones. Slow legs, slow minds. And we do better without them.
Look, things are turning a little upside down for me here. I do know this. I'll do anything to save my children. You want me to eat crow? I'll eat crow.
You don't have to eat crow. You just have to crow. My name is Thudbutt.
Okay, Mr. Thudbutt. We have a deal. If I have to crow, I'll crow. If I have to fight, I'll fight. And if I have to fly, I'll... Do I really have to fly?
Hey, babe.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, we're going to play a little bit of a word association. I'm going to say this line from a famous movie, and you tell me what movie it's from, okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Run home, Jack. Run home, Jack. Run home, Jack.
Would that be Hook?
That would be Hook. No. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite lines from the movie. And when he switches around and he has, home run Jack. And that's about the same time that the little sister in the movie starts to get nostalgic and realize she misses her mom. And I mean, there's so many things about this movie that I love. But one of the things I love so much is the littlest lost boy.
Too small.
Too small. What's his real name?
Thomas Tulak.
Thomas Tulak. And guess what? That is who we are interviewing today on a Hardy Party of 5.5. You are going to love it. You're going to learn so much. And he is doing some cool things too.
Yep. And it's to celebrate the 30th anniversary. I know this may make some of us feel a little older, but it's the 30th anniversary of Hook. And in the interview, we talked about how this is just like an iconic movie for people that you just love this movie.
Yeah, we just
So many
love
people
it.
do.
So many people love it.
Yep.
So without further ado, here is our interview with Thomas Tulak.
So glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Where are you at today? Are you in the LA area?
Yes, LA
Okay.
area.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to jump right in with how did little Thomas get into acting?
So I kind of have this mindset of when I see somebody doing something, I feel like I can do it too. Like there's no reason why I couldn't, you know what I mean? So I just, as a kid, I just would see people acting in TV and movies and things. And I just keep pushing to my parents like, hey, I could do that too. There's no difference between that person that's on the screen and me, you know, so there's no reason why I couldn't. So I just kept pushing. And then eventually my mom was like, all right, well, let's prove it. And got me, found an open casting call for that a talent agency was having. And I went in and auditioned for this talent agency that was looking for new talent. And there was like 500 kids there that were all seeking representation. And I was one of 2 that got hired on of that 500.
Oh, wow. And how old were you at the time?
I was like 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what was your first gig after you got hired on?
So Hook was the first like actual acting gig that I had.
Yeah.
The only thing I had prior to Hook was I did a ad spot for TV Guide.
Oh my gosh.
So I literally just went from this little photo shoot for this little ad for TV Guide and then right into Hook.
Wow.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
crazy. I cannot believe 2 out of 500.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
That's so crazy. I mean, the cutest little boy with curly hair and freckles. I mean, I would have hired him too. So adorable.
So Ryan Francis was Peter Pan in the movie, and I read an article where he talked about how he got his role. And apparently he walked into the casting room with Steven Spielberg sitting there, and Steven kind of already liked his look, apparently. So he just asked Ryan, "Are you athletic?" And Ryan's like, "Yeah, I play sports and all that." And then Steven's just like, "Okay, jump on this table without using your hands." So he jumps up on the table and does it. And then he gets back down. And Steven's like, "Do it again. But this time, like, strike a heroic pose when you're done." So he jumps on the table again and strikes his heroic pose. And then after that, I think they gave him a few lines to read. And then he came back and read for the part. And he had it. So basically, he just jumped on the table. And it's fascinating to me how they did that casting. Because you could tell Steven already knew that this was the guy. And he was just like confirming that. So how did you get your role? Was it a similar story? Was it like that easy or seemingly easy?
It was fairly similar. Yeah, I gotta imagine when Steven is doing these auditions that he's seeing tons and tons of kids, and each one is cute as the next one. So, but I remember I got into the room and he had this like long desk and he was sat at the end of it in like this big tall chair kind of, and he had like, guys, like people standing around him. It was very like Monty Burns-esque, you know, and I waltzed into his room. And of course at 6 years old, I don't know like the gravity of what's happening or who this person is. I just see this big office and he had arcade games in his waiting room. And, so I don't really understand fully what's happening. I just know I'm going to go in and read for this guy. So I barge into his room and I'm supposed to sit at the far end of this long table, but instead I just waltz all the way down the table, all the way up to him. I pound my fists on the table and I shout at him, "You want to put me in your movie?" And when I got home, there was a message waiting on my machine saying that I got the part. So
oh wow.
That is hilarious. Yeah, okay, so like what was your first day like on set? Did your mom go with you? Are you like, this is me and my mom, where do I head? Here's who I am. And did they know who you were when you walked in?
Oh yeah, they absolutely. Yeah. My mom took me pretty much most of the time. My mom and I would go. Sometimes my dad, but mostly it was my mom. And we checked in at the gate and there was like a person, like a liaison or whatever there to meet us and kind of show us where to go, and everything was all set up and ready and waiting for us. And I had a little trailer in the row with other trailers for other Lost Boys, and they had another trailer where we would go to do schooling, because as minors in the industry you still have to do schooling for a number of hours a day. So they had a separate trailer for the school and teachers and all that. And everything was kind of just set up and already waiting for us.
So what was your first scene once you got on set? What was your first scene?
Oh, I think the first scene that I shot, I remember my first day on set. I didn't actually shoot anything. I was just kind of there to get everything set up. And they were shooting the scene where Peter is training in the sword fight, and the one Lost Boy like cuts his suspender and his pants fall down. They were shooting that scene on my first day. But my first actual like scene on camera, I want to say, was when the Lost Boys meet Peter for the first time, and that whole like he's old, he's fat, of that whole bit. And it's funny because in that scene, if you watch me very closely, there's a moment where I kind of lean off to one side while we're giving. I just kind of lean and go back. What happened there is I'm actually pulling out a wedgie, because the onesie that they gave me didn't quite fit exactly right. And so they and then I rewatched it again recently, and there's a couple other parts where like there's one part where I'm standing up on one leg for no reason, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to deal with a wedgie right there. That's what's going on.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Kind of like the Batman suit for actors. You didn't have the right size. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch again and look for wedgie moments.
Totally looking for the wooden
Yeah.
elements.
So this is a giant production, right? Because back then there wasn't any CGI to like you can blend things in and all that now. So tell us about like the sheer size, how many studios and what it was like just being on this gigantic set.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was 7 sound stages that they built all of these sets on. And the largest of the sound stages was the one where they had the pirate ship, which it had it was like an aquarium type set because it had at least 3 feet of water under the whole thing. So it could look like the pirate ship was, in the water. And it was so big that you'd have the pirate ship on the one side, and then on the far side, it was painted to look like sky. And then it could look like, the horizon far away. So we're talking about a massive soundstage here and tons of water that they had to fill it all up with.
Wow.
And 3 feet of water stretched around the whole thing. So, and then the Never Tree and the Lost Boys, base, I guess you call it. Yeah, it was 7 different sound stages, and it was all real. Like it was all like I could go in and climb along the tree and run down the track and everything. Like it was all actually really. It's funny though because you got the facade on the front side with trees and rocks and everything, but then you go around back and it's just like wood.
Yeah, that's so crazy. We, side note, over quarantine for 7 weeks, we had nothing to do, and we're a very creative family. So I pulled all our family together and said, we're going to remake the movie The Goonies.
Oh, no.
We all took parts, actually multiple parts, and we did our best to have costumes around the house or whatever we could do. Anyways, we had a great pirate ship at the end too that was basically pulled along from a string.
I made a little
cinematography. He did a great job.
Special thanks.
Yeah, he's really good.
That's awesome.
So you were on set long enough to celebrate your 7th birthday. How did you celebrate your 7th birthday?
With we didn't make a big deal out of it, but we just kind of had a little party. I had played video games with Robin. I think we had some Kool-Aid and gummy bears, and nothing super special. A lot of us had birthdays over the production. It was I was on set for 7 months, and so a lot of So we just nothing super special, just kind of extra little treats, gummy bears, Kool-Aid, and video games. This was back when we had Game Boys that if you wanted to play together, you had to connect with a 3-foot cable. And so, Robin and I would just sit there and connect our Game Boys and play Game Boy together.
That's crazy.
He didn't do much. He was just playing video games.
Williams, I know big deal. I mean, I didn't celebrate my 7th birthday like that. No. Okay, we have 3 boys. So when they're bored, we can only imagine like what kind of mischief. I mean, I know what kind of mischief our kids got into. 20 to 30 Lost Boys on this set. What did y'all do in your spare time? They couldn't have kept you occupied this whole entire time. Game Boys that connect are not quite that occupied.
Not enough, no. Well, I have heard some stories about some of the older kids and things they got up to, but a lot of that I was too young to partake in. So a lot of the younger guys, like myself or Isaiah or some of the younger kids, we kind of just did our own thing. And didn't get too wild and crazy. But it was the older kids that were doing some stuff. And I've heard some stories, but I can't really confirm or deny. These are not my stories to tell.
Yeah, not your stories to tell. That's funny. This is back before you had an iPad to occupy every kid. So this is, you probably were, creative enough to figure out what to do, and your parents knew how to handle that. So. That was the time. That was a long time ago.
How fun would that be just to be on the set with all this stuff there?
Yeah, spent my time in the treehouse and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. As much as you can. Yeah, it was like let's go climb and explore and see what's going on. I mean, we were only able to do that so much because it was still a film set, and it's not like it was a play place where there are safety things. I mean, it was safe enough, but not like to just go climbing without supervision or anything.
Right.
So there was only so much we could do on the set, but didn't stop us from trying to go and look and explore and find all the little nooks and crannies that the camera will never see and stuff like that.
What a great game of hide and seek.
Oh, totally.
In Neverland.
Who gets to do that? That's so cool. Okay, let's talk about a few iconic moments that you got to be a part of filming. So the first one we want to hear about is obviously the food fight. Tell us about that whole scene.
The food fight is the one scene that will forever haunt me and live in infamy.
Really?
Oh, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it you gotta remember that there's 20, 30 kids there, and every time we do another take, we have to start fresh. So we filmed that over the course of 3 days, and after every take, we had to stop and go get cleaned up and come back. And you got to figure there's 20 or 30 kids. There were 4 showers, and there were not enough hot water for everybody.
So if you got on the, if you were on the back end, you had no hot water.
I'm assuming
it wasn't even the back end. You weren't on like 3rd or 4th in line. Then you were cold showers.
And you being the youngest probably weren't. Yeah.
I had so many cold showers over those 3 days. And then it was just to go do the fight this all over again, and then go shower again over and over and over for 3 days. The actual like filming the scene was a lot of fun because throwing food and all that, but that was such a small part of it compared to the cleanup and the reset and doing it again. And
I can't imagine.
I see that scene very differently than everybody else.
It's a fun scene to us. It's like Peter's finally using his imagination, but you're just thinking, I got to go take another cold shower
and do this again. You did it for 3 days?
3 days we spent filming that scene. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And I'm sure a part of it was because of all of the cleanup and reset that had because it was cleaning up all of the actors, and then
you have to reset the whole set.
The set.
Exactly. Everything's got to look like it's from the top again, all over again. So.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Okay, we have the food fight scene, and then we have the iconic "Good Night Neverland," where you blow out the candle.
So tell us about how that scene works. Again, it looks like a pretty simple scene.
It looks like a pretty simple scene. That kind of, it came out of some trial and error and frustration, actually. So I was supposed to, just like all the other Lost Boys, just blow out the candle and then say the line. And every other Lost Boy was able to get that down, and it worked just fine. But for some reason, there was a guy behind the camera with a button, and when I would blow, he would hit the button, the light would go out. But for some reason, we could never get the timing right. So like I would blow and then there'd be a break and then it would go out, or it would go out before I blow, whatever. We could never get the timing right. So after, a dozen takes, finally, Steven was just like, all right, you know what? This isn't working. Just spit out the candle. So I spit it out. He got the timing and done. And that was it. All right, we're done. We're moving on.
So it's basically a spit tank to get the timing.
Basically,
That's awesome. And also we have the final climactic battle scene between the pirates and the Lost Boys. What was that whole setup like? Again, that looks really cool. You got all the bamboo armor on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The bamboo armor was a lot of fun. And then, it was 30 or 40 Lost Boy characters, and then coupled with 30 or 40, pirate characters, and it was on the big sound stage. So all of those stages and everything was actually there. I think like it was 1/3 scale though, so it could fit. Like the pirate ship, it wasn't full scale, but it was all really there, and all those people and everything. We're looking at 100 people that are making it between cast and crew and everything. And the pirates, I remember being jealous because all the adult characters, the older Lost Boys and the pirates, they had real swords, but the younger ones like myself, I had a rubber dagger. So but no, it was a lot of fun doing that part. And then I got a tomato launcher. I got to shoot a tomato at someone. And
so did the launcher actually work? Everything worked.
Wow. Really. Yeah. And it was just, done up to look like it was from Neverland, but it was just like a crossbow type thing with a little seat for it to, actually launch a tomato.
Did you get to keep any of this stuff, or is it?
Not any of that stuff. I do have a goblet that was on set somewhere that I got inscribed. That I used to hold my pencils and things on my desk now. And then that's really it as far as like props go. I do have a t-shirt with autographs from everybody that was on set, including some people like that had stopped by as guests. Like it's got Steven's autograph, Robin's, Dustin's, all that, and then it's got George Lucas and a couple other people who were there just as guests got their autograph, and then of course all the other Lost Boys like Dante and all that. And then I have a script, a hardbound book copy of the original draft of the script
how cool.
Robin had made as a wrap gift. He made about a dozen of these and then signed it in the front with a personal message and gave them out as wrap gifts at the wrap party, and I got. So that's really cool. Basically it though.
That's pretty thoughtful. Basically it. That's really cool. Okay. Choosing the new pan scene, that was one of my favorite scenes. And you look after him, and who do you look after? Never bugs, little ones. So tell us about that scene.
So they wanted genuine reactions. So what they did is there were rumors that were secretly spread to each Lost Boy that they were going to be so every Lost Boy came into the scene thinking that they were going to get the sword. So I came into it thinking, and of course I'm like, of course, I'm the youngest. That makes total sense. This is Neverland. Of course, the youngest one's going to be in charge. So everyone came in thinking they were going to get the sword and be the next Pan, because things are changing, on the fly and things. So we shot the scene with everyone thinking that, and then so their reactions of disappointment, I guess, were genuine. And so it was kind of a shock, and it was a real surprise who actually got, and then we did it again, knowing what was going to happen and everything. But we all went into that thinking we were going to get it, and then we're a little bit disappointed when it wasn't us.
That's brilliant parenting. That is.
Well, it's brilliant directing too, to get like authentic reactions from everybody. Okay, so you mentioned some of the people that were on set and visited and all that. So we're gonna mention a name and just tell us what you remember about that person, or if there was a moment a special moment you had. The first one is Steven Spielberg, who's obviously involved with the movie.
Steven Spielberg. I remember watching him work, where he always had the answer. He always knew what he wanted. He always had 6 or 8 people vying for his attention at any given time. And I remember he always had the answer for everybody, no matter what. I remember seeing people around him, everybody's trying to get his attention, and he's just answering, and he knows what's happening, and he's in charge, and people are listening. And all the while, he's never losing his cool. He's always composed, and he's just on top of it. And I remember watching him just command the room and just be in charge and have that presence. And I remember watching that thinking, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be the director. I want to be the man in charge with all the answers, making the decisions. And that influence on me at that age was so strong that now that's what I do with my life. So he directly influenced, watching him work directly influenced me. And so now I'm a filmmaker, I'm a director because of that. So yeah.
And I think part of that is probably he was so prepared that he knew what was going to happen. He had spent so much time preparing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he was working on preparing for this and everything long beforehand. And I just remember being so impressed that he constantly had the answer and knew what he wanted. He knew what was up. And every single person that tried to come at him with a question or want his attention or whatever, he could have 6 or 8 or a dozen people trying to talk to him at the same time. And he was just, okay, this, yes, whatever. And never once get frustrated, never once, lose his cool, anything. And I remember that sticking with me for some reason.
That's crazy.
That's honestly the most impressive part.
Yeah, for him to stay that calm.
Yeah, you would expect him to have 100 questions coming at him, but you would
expect, like, that's a stupid question, leave me alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's that much stress going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing, actually.
Posed and gracious.
I guess that's why he's so good at it. He can just zone in. So the next name is Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman. I remember he had his birthday on set as well. And the way he celebrated his birthday was to give out a gift to everybody. And the gift that he gave out was a copy of Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who, as read and narrated by Dustin Hoffman. So I have somewhere, I think in a box in the closet or something, I have a cassette tape that is Dustin Hoffman reading Horton Hears a Who.
Oh my God.
That is kind of odd and kind of awesome too, though. It's so random.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was probably like his kid's favorite book or something. I don't know the origin of this, but it's a gift that he gave out to everybody on his birthday, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Did you ever listen to it? Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry, I'm up.
That's okay.
I did listen to it back then, but like once or twice, and then it was like, all right, this is the kind of thing that lives on the shelf and stays there.
Yeah. Or in a box in your closet.
Or in a box in the closet, yeah. Because tape degrades over time. So
right,
it's just,
for sure. Yeah. That's so cool.
Okay. So the last name is Robin Williams. What do you remember about Robin Williams?
Robin Williams was the other guy that directly influenced my life. He was like the big brother that I never had, because I'm the oldest of my siblings, and so he was like my big brother, my best friend. He always addressed you like on your level, and so oh my goodness, sorry.
That's okay.
It's dusty around here. So so with Robin, it was like he was my best friend, and hanging out with him like away from camera and just having fun with him, and he would get enriched when he makes you laugh. That's the kind of guy he was. And so seeing the laughter that he brings to people was another thing that touched me too. Like that's the kind of person I want to be, that makes the people around me laugh. And so because of him, my life motto is laughter is the best gift that anybody can give. And so the combination of these two influences, I want to be a storyteller and a director, and I got that from Steven, and I want to make people laugh. I get that from Robin. And so I want to make comedies, and I want to, make movies, but I want to do comedies. And so these two things together, and I try to find the humor in everything that I do. So I like to say that Robin and Steven had the biggest influence on my life out of my whole experience as a child actor and everything that happened at that time. It was those two guys that had the biggest influence on my life.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So as far as did you keep in touch with the Lost Boys after the filming? Do y'all still stay in touch? And
you have a great chat.
With some
a group chat.
I do have some of them, the ones that are closer to my age. So like Isaiah, for example. I'm not like, we're not like super tight, but like we talk now and again. And like I went to lunch with James Maggio a while back, and like Dante Bosco was shooting his Rufio prequel thing, and I got to come to set and hang out for a day. And so I've had contact with them here and there, but you know, we're not like besties with a group chat or anything.
Yeah.
No Lost Boys group chat. Why can't Tyler just feel like
Lost Boys.
That's cool. Okay, you got to deliver like the best line, the last Lost Boy line in the movie. That was a good game. Like, tell us what that was like and what you feel about that line.
I want you to take care of everyone who's smaller than you.
Okay. Then who do I look after?
Never bugs. Little ones.
That was a great game.
Thank you for believing.
Well, I didn't realize at the time that it was going to be the last line, the last Lost Boy line, or the last, you know. I just, we're standing there, and they had this way of like, we have to give a line out to something, and what they would do is they would have this really long stick with a red X at the end of it, and they would just kind of hold it up, and they'd be like, all right, now look at that red X and just give the line. And so so I just kind of step out, and the camera's way up there, and there's that red X, and just kind of look up at it and give the line. And it was only later when I, you know, watched the movie that I realized what the moment was that we were creating. I didn't know at all.
You didn't know it at the time.
Yeah. And that's
Wow.
kind of a lot of how filmmaking is. You don't really know what the moment is going to be that you're in the middle of creating until after you see it played back and put together with everything in place, you know.
So once it all was in place, did you all sit and watch it together, or was that like?
Did you go to the premiere and all that?
Oh yeah. They had a big premiere with you know, all the stars and actors and a lot of people who were in everyone that was in it and a part of it, and then a lot of people who weren't, like the whole red carpet thing. Oh yeah. I came and saw it there. And so
Wait, is that the first time you saw the whole thing at a premiere?
yeah.
Is that how that works?
I think that's usually what it is.
What?
Yeah. Because that was before the movie was, you know, released publicly. So that was like the invite only special premiere. You know, you see like the stars on the red carpet with the step and repeat and everything. Those are at like the big time, like the premieres. And it's like shortly after that, a couple of weeks later or whatever, that the movie gets released publicly, you know, for everybody else to see. So that's the first time really anybody gets to see it.
I learned something new today. You probably already knew that, I'm sure.
So you spent 7 months. I mean, you're like really young at this point. You started at 6, now you're 7. So you spent 7 months on set. So that's a long time for a kid your age. So what did it feel like on that last day on the set? What was like the last scene you did?
How did it feel to know, like, oh man, this is over now?
I'm trying to remember what my last scene was. Honestly, don't remember. I feel like it was the fight with the Lost Boys and the Pirates. I think that was the last thing that we were filming. But I just remember as we're kind of, you know, done and we're kind of packing up and getting ready to leave, the crew is already taking down the set and setting up for the next movie that's going to be there, which I think was a vampire movie. I don't remember. That was going to be the next thing filmed in there. And there was this kind of like feeling of like, I don't know how to describe, kind of almost humbling, you know, you part of this big thing, and then it's just over and you're driving away for the last time, realizing you're not going to come back. And it's like, there's kind of a relief of it's done and we got through it and it's good. But at the same time, it's bittersweet, you know, because it's also saddening that, you know, I've been every day here with all of these people and my friends and all this and all that, and now it's just over. And the next time I'm going to see them is, who knows when. So
Right. Yeah.
it's definitely a bittersweet moment, I think.
For
And
sure.
that's kind of true of, every production and everything, not even just production, but everything that you're a part of for a long time and then it's over. It's kind of, just generally bittersweet,
Yeah.
So do you remember your last moment with Robin? Did you get a chance to say bye to him? And
I think the last actual moment that I had with him was, I'm going to say it was at the wrap party when he gave me the script.
yeah.
It was, not long after the film wrapped, and they had the wrap party at this big, I don't even remember where it was, but it was this big room, like a ballroom. And they had, a mini version of the pirate ship, and they had all this stuff for all the kids to play on. And it was this huge party. And I just remember Robin coming up to my family and kind of pulling us aside for a minute just to, talk to us and tell us how much he appreciated and enjoyed spending time with me on set. And that's when he gave us the hardbound copy of the scripts. And I guess because I'm pretty close in age to his son, who he didn't get to spend a lot of time with while he's on set. And so it just, I guess he kind of, like vicariously, that whole thing, parenting.
Yeah.
But spending time with me off camera, off set meant a lot to him. And so he pulled us aside, me and my mom and dad, and kind of just said how much it meant to him. And it was a very touching moment. I gave him a big hug, and that was the last time I saw him. And I think that was a very kind of meaningful moment that'll always stick with me.
Yeah, for sure. And then on set, your teachers did their job well, and you got to go on to second grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't get held back.
because
You didn't get held back.
No, because when you're a minor in that industry, you have to maintain a certain GPA. So it was
okay.
it was important. If
Yeah.
your GPA falls under a certain point, you lose your work permit. You don't get to come back to set.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was
That's
important. It
crazy.
was
I didn't know that either.
detrimental to the production that we get passing grades.
That you have passing grades. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So in my research, I found this Screen Rant list.
And I shared that with you. It's the top 10 best child actors in a Steven Spielberg movie. So I just want to get your reaction. The Lost Boys finished 10th. So you're in the top 10. I don't know how many movies he has with kids.
How does it feel? I'm going to share some of the names here. Y'all are number 10, Lost Boys as a whole. Number 9 was Ariana Richards, which she was in Jurassic Park. She did a pretty good job. You've got Jonathan Keyquan, which was in Temple of Doom, Short Round, similar to your name since you're too small. And then there's Ruby Barnhill, BFG.
Have you seen the BFG?
I actually have not seen BFG.
It wasn't my favorite Spielberg movie. It was kind of odd.
How are the Lost Boys below these people? I don't even know half these people.
You're upset, aren't you?
I'm very upset.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this list.
Okay.
I was not privy to this. He doesn't clue me in on a lot. I'm just a talent. I come in and sit down and do what I'm doing.
So Joseph Mazzello, who's also Jurassic Park. You've got Henry Thomas, E.T. That's pretty iconic. You've got Haley Joel Osment, which he was in Artificial Intelligence. Then there's Dakota Fanning from War of the World. She's pretty good. Number 2 is Drew Barrymore, E.T. again. And then there's Christian Bale is number 1. So that's a pretty good list that the Lost Boys are on.
So do you feel like the Lost Boys should be higher, or what do you think?
I think it's worth examining the criteria of this list.
Yeah.
Because it said at the very top that this was based on future careers.
Yeah.
So Christian Bale went on to be a household name. Everybody knows him. So of course, when you're looking at, the future career of these people, of course you put someone like Christian Bale over someone like myself. But because that article also said that Hook wasn't one of Spielberg's better movies.
Which I
and
can't
I'm
agree
like,
with.
I don't think I agree with that. I've seen a lot of Spielberg's movies, and there's not many of them that live on in such iconography as this one does.
Yeah.
You know, this one is so beloved by so many people and has held on to that for so long, you know, and people cosplay as Rufio. I don't see anybody cosplaying as Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park, all that. You know what I mean? Like, not that Jurassic Park's not a great movie, but, you know, I feel like Hook has, based on what I have seen over the years, and, you know, people talk to me and tell me how much this movie means to them. And it's like, I feel like if we're looking at beloved films that, you know, Hook probably should have been higher on the list.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And then when you're looking at, you know, future careers, Dante Bosco, who played Rufio, he went on to be the voice of Zuko in Avatar. And
which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And then James Madio went on to be in Band of Brothers, and, you know, there a lot of the Lost Boys went on to do more things. None of them maybe to the level of Christian Bale. Sure.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, not everyone can be Batman.
Right. And then it said, I read that article, and it's talking about me and all the other Lost Boys, and it said that none of us went on to do anything. And I read that, and I was like, okay, it's not untrue, but ouch, a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Depending on what they think is something, I guess.
Right. Right. Yeah. And here's what I'm going to say about that. I have always subscribed to the philosophy that the only true failure is when you quit. Until then, you just haven't made it yet. So I might not have amounted to anything yet. I am in post-production on a feature film right now that I wrote and directed. So, you know, I'm still at it, and I'm still going. Let's revisit this list in a couple of years, and we'll see how I rank on it again.
We'll hold you to that podcast interview.
There you go.
So tell us a little bit about what are your current creative ventures. What are you doing? What do you got going on?
So I am in post-production on a feature film. It's called Who Done It. It is a comedy murder mystery. I am the writer, director, and lead producer. And I am so excited about this. This is my directorial debut, my first feature film as a director. And it's I'm in post on it now. We're about halfway through with the edit, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for this. So that's
were you as Zen as Steven and Zen?
Yeah. Did you channel that?
I wanted to be. I tried. It's not as easy as it looks, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have been writing and directing, making content for the past decade. And so when I stepped on set to make this feature, and I'm in that role, this is the role of writer and director is the role I have been wanting to be in since I was on the set of it. And so when I stepped onto that after a decade of experience, I definitely knew I was in the right place. I knew that this was the right thing for me here. I'm behind the camera kind of guy, and I knew that this is where I need to be and what I'm doing. And so it felt like home. It felt right. Mm-hmm. Whether or not I kept my cool as much as Steven did, I can't say. I've had some of the actors tell me that if there was tension on set, they weren't aware of it, and that's good enough for me.
Well, yeah, that's good. That'll work. Yeah,
that's good enough.
So when will post-production be done?
I am aiming to have post-production done by June, because that's when Sundance Film Festival opens up their submissions.
Okay, great.
Whether or not we'll hit that mark, we'll see, but that's the goal.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
So it's like you mentioned, this movie is special for us because it's one of the first movies. It was one of our date nights.
It's when we first started dating.
We've almost been married 30 years. So And then we got I don't know if you told him or not, but we got that. What was it? A Nintendo?
The Nintendo game with the card.
You couldn't pause. You couldn't like save your game back then. So we just had to pause it whenever we wanted to leave. We'd come back.
We'd be at work all day and then we'd come back.
The Hook game was paused, so we could come back and play it.
Did you ever play the Hook game?
Yeah. It was not an easy game, as I remember.
It wasn't.
Being very, very a lot of struggle to get through those levels.
Yeah.
It took us a week or two, I think.
Yeah.
Just
For a long
having
time.
to actually work and stuff. And have,
I remember throwing my controller across the room out of frustration more than once.
Yeah.
It's so funny now to say we couldn't save our game because it's like automatically saved now.
I know, yeah.
So yeah, it's just we were talking about before we got on. This is like 30 years in the making to have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And we're just so thankful that you were able to spend some time with us and just share some things about a movie we really love. So, and I know a lot of people out there love it too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. We're so thankful.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm happy to hear things like that about how much this movie has meant to so many people like yourselves after all of this time. And it's that right there why I'm thinking Hook should have been higher up on that list.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
I mean, BFG, I don't know that BFG means as much to people all this time later as Hook did, you know.
Yeah.
Not that I'm disparaging BFG, but I haven't even seen that one.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't hear anybody talking about BFG.
Well, there's a reason we haven't seen it.
Right. That's right. So Thomas, we really appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see who done it. Is that right?
Who done. It's like the dun dun dun.
Yeah. That's so exciting. I can't wait to see that. Super excited for you.
Thank you. I can't wait for you to see it also.
Yes, and congratulations. And we'll see you in a couple of years in your 2-year mark interview from here to see, how things are going.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Take care, man.
Thomas. Appreciate you.
See ya. Rebecca Hardy, can you believe that we just talked to Too Small?
I cannot believe it.
This was 30 years in the making, and I'm just giddy that we got to just experience Hook through a cast member's
I can't believe it. So many ins and outs. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's amazing.
I know. What I really liked is how he talked about the influence that both Steven Spielberg and Robin Williams had on his life. And that made me think, like, us as adults, who's watching us right now? Like you as parents, as adults, who's watching you that is thinking, I want to be just like them, or I don't ever want to be like them. So, what are you portraying to young people in your life? I just thought that was a cool takeaway from him. So
yeah, and I just love the behind the scenes of like what really happened on set, like a fun scene like the food fight scene.
Right.
You would think these kids just had a ball doing it, but to find out they had to take showers over and over every day.
Kids also hate showers. So,
But just to hear those behind the scenes just makes the movie even that more great to me.
So good. Yes. We hope you guys enjoyed our interview with Thomas Tulak as much as we did. I'm still fangirling. I can't believe we got to do that. So I'm just going to spend the rest of the day in Neverland.
There you go. That's a good plan.
That's a great plan.
Where's the pixie dust?
Hey, this was a good game.
It was.
Hardy Party at 5.5. Over and out.
We'll see you next time.